Welcome to another installment of the Mood. You know what? I was thinking about doing a little intro of like an old show or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. This is another installment of the Mood Room. I'm in the mood to do a little clip from a show that I used to watch. It was just I did it at work and it was funny to me, so I'm gonna do it. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality. But there is, unseen by most, an underworld, a place that is just as real, but not as brightly lit. A dark side! I'm sorry, forgive me. Welcome!
How do you just give up immediately?
Well, that was the end of it. It was like
You're supposed to give us some time.
You know, I actually have the non-speaking sound of that I could have brought and given to your sound.
Well, there we go. This is where we learn to plan ahead of time and get better at doing this the podcast.
Out of nowhere,
I'm saying for the future, if I want to do something like that, I'll talk about it ahead of time. We'll have a little brainstorming session, and we'll do what we got to do.
Show and we're still brainstorming.
Well, I'm sorry, we're not. We don't take it as serious as we should. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe.
Clearly.
When we get to a point that we're got some actual followers, maybe we'll start taking it serious.
We got 2 Facebook friends, guys. We got this.
So we're joined by Bones himself. Say hi to the world, Bones.
Hello.
You got to say hi to the world, like I said. Don't you say hi to the world.
Hello, world. How you doing?
Godzilla has rejoined us. I don't know if he wants to go by a new name today, but say hello, Godzilla.
We're going to do Mick Foley in honor of your reference to how many fans we have. We have dozens and dozens of Mankind fans.
Dozens.
And I'm blonde hair today. My name is Blonde Hair.
There's always one moron in the room. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's almost like he purposely does comic relief, but he's like, it's just who he is. Anyway.
You, what the fuck?
We're not. This is a family friendly episode. So
so we can't. What is your name?
I didn't. Jeff Sessions. I don't know. I didn't come up with a name today.
Okay, fatter than yesterday's back again.
Fuck you.
Be careful.
I've heard some. Yeah, you're gonna have to. It was my birthday this week, so I didn't really do anything with news this much this week. So I heard little stuff here and there, but I'm not really caught up on anything. But we'll get to that after I do the few other things I want to talk about. You didn't see Get Out, did you?
I did see Get Out.
All right, we can all talk about it. Did you go with us? You did go with us.
I actually did.
You just faded into the night there, right? You you were there, but it's like you weren't there.
It's because I'm
Like
black.
we're invisible, like me.
You said it's because you're black, so the lights went out, and then that was it?
Yes, once those lights come down.
You know?
This
is why you can't be black, guys, because you have to.
Whoa! That's an advantage.
Do tell how that's an advantage. Go, you're up.
The world owes you something.
You see, and that's when you get. That's when you have a problem. You walk around with this chip on your shoulder, like the world owes you something, and then you don't get what you want. And you have an attitude problem.
The world owes you everything. We're the breaking blocks of mankind.
And then you get
it was first there were black, and then there was albino, and we call that white now.
What the hell? Okay, so. That movie Get Out, right? Everybody's like, oh, there's this big hype around this movie, and everybody's, oh, you can see it. You got Rotten Tomatoes stayed at 100 forever, and it's just fantastic. Everybody, go see it. So, I went to see it, and you saw it, right? I just want to make sure. Okay. So, so there was the hype was built up around it. So I was like really excited. This is gonna, this is gonna be my shit. This is gonna be the mind blowing. I'm gonna walk out of there like, oh shit, you know what I mean? But. I didn't do that. I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed. There might be some spoilers in here for this movie, so if you don't want to get spoiled, don't.
Skip to whatever.
There's 2 people that are listening. You might want to tune out.
Yeah, you might want to tune out. Yeah. So the hype. I was excited to see it and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't. I didn't come out of there like mind blown. I wasn't like, oh shit, this is crazy. I'm gonna be, But it was really, really good. Like for horror movies nowadays, you don't really get like scared. But this one was more psychological, and it made you like, what the? And so this sort of stuff kind of does happen though, where you go out and you get fucking abducted, and they might not be doing brain fucking transfers, but who knows these days? Fucking rich people.
I feel like the horror movies are like scary movies in general. I feel like they're dead in general. But when you have like Split and Get Out now, 2 good movies of the year,
I didn't see Split yet, so don't kill me.
I'm not gonna spoil Split, but I'm saying it's like it's thing. Scary is like things that could actually happen nowadays. It's like being abducted or twice in both movies. You're adopted. You guys should know that.
Your
from the
mom
trailer.
talks about that. She doesn't like movies that are realistic, like that stuff that can actually happen.
Like Silence of the Lambs, she would not
Yes.
watch because she doesn't want to see things that potentially can and do happen. She's not a horror fan anyway, but watching Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, that's a little different.
I had this nephew, right? He, there was one time he was at my house, and I think he was watching a horror movie because I came home, and true story.
I recall that.
I came home. He was there by himself. I came home, and my door was wide open, and his shoes were still there. Probably together, because I don't know why that it just runs in the family. They just stay together.
Yes.
I get hit by a car, my shoes land
Very,
together
very
across
much.
the street.
Yes, very much.
So the shoes are together. So I'm like, what the? Did he just get? Did aliens come and pull him up into the sky? What kind of shit? So that was. So I'm like,
leave the door open if that was the case.
right. So it's like,
then
okay.
You go to, okay, did somebody break into the house?
So
Something
yeah. So I'm
happened?
like, what the hell kind of shit is it? What? So I finally get a hold of him after wondering what the fuck happened. He just said he woke up and got scared and ran away. Did that really happen, folks? That he ran away?
Who is this?
Well,
Who is this
we
guy,
know
man?
he happens to be in the studio with us today.
Is that Bones?
Bones did that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know what. This is your chance to tell the world what the fuck happened with there. Because I to this day,
There's nothing more to say. You
he,
already told me.
he just woke up, started looking around. He's like, nope, I'm out.
You were living in the basement of a house.
Exactly, you know?
So you didn't know you were in the basement when
You
you,
can't-
when you went to sleep. You didn't know you were in the basement. So
Can't
was
be in
younger.
the
Yeah,
basement,
I know.
you know?
Leave him alone.
Thank you, George. You know, we appreciate you.
Hey, hold on. So
You
what-
know?
Electric heater, furnace, noises,
Fish tanks.
fish
Yeah,
tanks,
Yeah, you
bugs.
know? Pretty much, you know, you can't be in the basement all alone by yourself at a young age, and then your uncle has a bunch of these, scary ass action figures there and all that. And stuff, casting spells. And shit,
so it's
you know?
it's your uncle's fault that you ran away and left your shoes there and my door unlocked.
It's the environment. I'm not gonna let you guys.
It is if you look
Yeah,
at down
man.
on
Like,
ID4.
Yeah, black
how
people
you
stay
see.
together.
I'm
man.
blonde.
What am I not black?
Whoa,
What the hell
whoa.
is this shit?
You know?
I am not black. I'm blonde hair.
Oh, I forgot, man. I'm so sorry.
Did you leave
man.
that alien from
Jeez.
ID4 out for him to see?
I did that on purpose. I probably shouldn't bring that up. That's terrible. No, I don't think I might have had it. I probably did have it actually. That fucked me up. Shit.
What?
One of my other friends, his son was terrified of this alien I had from Independence Day, and it made noise and stuff. And if you even went near that thing, he would die and run away.
The alien from ID4 had multiple tentacles and the skull split open.
Mm-hmm.
It had a motion sensor on it, so John had the battery in it working. So you would go by it, and the thing would start making noise. It would start squealing, and the face would split open. So most 2, 3, 4-year-olds would run in terror from this thing. So that happened to our friend's son a couple times. He was terrified of it. So all John had to do was just look at the thing. With
And
him and
he was
point
out.
to it.
He was done for the day, and he was done. But yeah, so what the fuck?
You moved the mouse.
Oh, I thought he lost fucking power. Screensaver came on. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
That's where I was at. I'm like, that's
Thank God we got the tech guy here. You know. All right. Anyway, so the movie it was like, this is different.
Mouse wiggling here in the house.
Oh God, please don't. That's the end of the podcast. We'll see you guys. No, it was different. The ending was surprising, and usually certain people don't live, and they did in this movie. certain types don't live, and they did. But what did you think of?
Oh yeah, so I was saying, what made the movie good is it was scary, and it wasn't just scary. Scary movies these days have little girls. They have the same tropes. She's a devil, or she has something possessed, or a little boy is possessed, and they try to scare you from that aspect, scary paranormal activity and all that bullshit. And it doesn't work anymore. It's like it's old. And what this movie does differently is it puts you in a real situation. And it puts you something we don't know anything about. We don't know anything about that brain transfusion.
You know what? I think what's happened is now that everyone has access to the internet, young people have become desensitized to that sort of stuff. Because when you and I are going to see a movie, we're not seeing anything like that. So when we see some shit, with these paranormal things and Freddy Krueger and all that kind of shit, we're fucked up. You know what I mean? At a young age, seeing that shit. So it's like now it's just commonplace now. So you really got to take it a step further to try to, grasp that crowd of, that horror crowd, Yeah,
Yes.
but what it does, it scares you because you don't know if that is possible. If what's happening in the movie is very possible. Someone kidnapping you and transporting part of their brain into your brain, and you're trapped in your own body while they live your life. That's scary.
It's scary.
That's actually scary.
Movie producers and television producers will tell you have won when you have audience participation. So when you're watching Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy and you're yelling at the screen and not getting the answer, they've won. They've sucked you in.
Yes.
This movie does the same thing. They've put you in a situation where you're identifying with the people in the movie. You have a guy telling the guy in the movie, hey, I think you're going to a bad situation. He's not fully listening. He's not paying attention. All the stuff that people would complain about and say, well, why wasn't this
That's
said?
clever.
Why
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
that done?
true.
They put all those metaphors and all of those things there as a viewing audience for you to enjoy, and you get a payoff at the end of the movie also as a viewing audience. You're like, screw this, I'd be the hell out of here. The guy gets the hell out of here.
As soon as he finds out, she lied to him. He was like, all right, that was the last straw. I'm gone. He didn't try to investigate. That was what the guy was happy about.
Which one of the family members was the scariest for you?
I would say the mom.
Hold on. We'll get back to it. What do you think?
The scariest, yeah, probably as presented was the mom.
Yeah, what about you? Do you think the mom was? Who do you think was the scariest?
I would say the mom was the weirdest and stuff.
Weirdest?
Yeah.
Well, the mind control, hypnotism aspects of it are absolutely terrifying because, I mean, that stuff has been proven that you can do it. I don't know if it's on that level, but you could definitely hypnotize people and, have them have a certain level of triggers happening, like with the thing with the cup she was doing. So it was interesting because they had, like, what's your blonde fuck today? Was that your name today?
Yeah, I'm blonde.
Blonde moron?
Blonde hair.
Blonde twat. He pointed out they had different steps of how they wanted to capture him. The first one, you can.
Oh yeah, so okay, so if I watched the movie twice, 2 times, not 3 times. I watched the movie twice, right?
That's what twice means.
And the beginning of the movie, you can the father suggested he does hypnotism, right? And
right, for the cigarette smoking.
Yeah, for the cigarette smoking.
Yep, I caught that.
So when he said no, I don't think so, the mom he tapped out, and so the mom after she asked him about his past, and when she started talking about his past, he started shaking a little bit, and she found out about the cigarette thing, whatever. But she tapped the glass 3 times when he started talking about, like, she brought it up. So like that. Like,
hold on, was that at the table?
Yeah, that was at the.
She tapped the glass at the
3
table?
times.
I missed that.
Yeah, it was so it's easy to miss, but if you watch it again, you're like, whoa.
Well, I saw her tap, but it didn't mean anything to me.
Right.
Yeah, it was like ding, ding, ding.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that.
It's like, whoa, and then it's like a second watching makes you think about everything. It's like, how many people tried this? So the father tried. So the mom stepped in and she's like, okay, I'm going to try it now. Since he didn't do that, I'm going to try a psychological way. And then the brother comes home because he just shows up and he's like, oh, so dad, you tried already. You already had your chance. Because when he's like, get up, he's like, have you did MMA? And the son specializes in physical contact.
That is funny. The son was filling him out by asking him those questions about the MMA and all that kind of stuff. He's like,
yes,
you're not actually dangerous, right? He's like basically what he's asking him.
So he goes behind him and he's like, let me put him in the hell. If you put him in hell, they could just skip all those steps. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the mother was like, no, it's my turn. You basically she's like, stop.
The funny thing is when he got up in the middle of the night and went to go smoke whatever, and the mother caught him off guard like that. If he didn't want to, I don't know. I guess I would have been like, stop tapping that cup. You know what I mean? There's certain things that I just wouldn't have done if I didn't want to be.
But it's one of those things where, like, he's in a situation where she has the power, and he's like in her house. So he's like, wait. She's like, he doesn't really understand what's going on.
That's true.
She's like, his idea of hypnotism from the beginning, what he explained was him moving the clock back and forth.
Everybody.
So he doesn't. You can tell he didn't know fully what was going on. So at the same
time, I'm just saying, if I don't want to
him,
be somebody getting in my head, there's no way I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with somebody that's what they do.
But he didn't know that was happening. She was trying. She was
like
presented
so that he didn't even realize what was taking place.
That's true. But late at night, and the questions she's asking are very probing questions, and it's like, that's freaking crazy.
But
how
she has charisma. Like her charisma.
I understand that. I'm just saying, if my guard is up, I'm not getting in that situation.
I mean, but
maybe,
like, we're looking at a different.
I guess I have to be in it to really.
Yeah, we're looking at a different point of view. Like, if you came to your girlfriend's or boyfriend's house, and her mom questions you, you're not gonna be like, "I'm getting away from you, bye." You're gonna be like, "Hey, what's up? Ha ha ha." You asking a question.
There's a way of doing it without being rude, but I get your point.
I'll take it.
Yeah, so it. Yeah, I thought the movie was really, really. I was surprised. I didn't know what it was about. I knew nothing going in.
You didn't quite have the visceral reaction you thought you might from all the hype you heard.
Yes.
Going in, although I did see a movie this week that you did have that reaction.
Oh
to.
yeah, Logan was. Whoa, I'm not. I'm gonna. You didn't see it. I'm assuming you didn't see it. Well, we can just speak without giving them spoilers. But what did you think about that movie, Logan, compared to what's done in the past? I mean, we did the same thing with Star Wars, but I don't want to, because I sort of kind of did this with Star Wars, where I kind of jumped on the hype. I was like, wow, this is amazing. But I still did think about the older movies and all that kind of stuff. I really should go back and watch before I make a decision. But there's a change happening where they're really embracing this R-rated type of stuff, and I think people will have a better appreciation for realism as opposed to pandering to young people. And, because when you do that, you have a broader audience. But like Deadpool is an example of that stuff works.
Yeah,
yes.
Fox did it two times in a row
There's an
now.
audience for it.
Fox did it. I don't know about two.
Well, as I said at the time, I'm excited that you had that reaction, because I felt very jaded in the last 5, 10, 15 years. That it felt like I've seen everything already. They've done it all. I've lived through the different ages of the effects getting better and better. And they hit a point like, well, they can't really get any better. I mean, unless switch into virtual reality or something. But I'm excited that you come out of these recent movies that we like and you're really hyped about them. Because I almost feel terrified to feel that way about stuff, because I feel like I'm going to get too excited and I'm going to get let down. So I like going into stuff not having expectation, but being thrilled. But I can verify for you, for Logan certainly, more so than I felt with Star Wars, just because of my experience the way I watched it. I thought Logan was very well done and deserves
the only movie that comes close to that movie for me, and I think Logan's better, is those Captain America movies. And it doesn't say that I don't like some of these other superhero movies more, or because I'm there's biases and things that I have, but I don't like Wolverine. I don't like Captain America. They do zero for me.
They don't. Not for me.
So
either.
for me to be using those movies as an example of really great superhero movies, that really says something. Because they do zero for me.
That is exactly my point I've made to people. I'm not an Iron Man fan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I shouldn't say was. I'm not an Iron Man. Didn't care about Iron Man. Didn't really care about Thor because he's always beating Hulk. I didn't appreciate that.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Thor's powerful.
Yeah,
Thor's
but
very powerful.
The Hulk
Captain America, but all of what the points are being made that these are characters that I don't care about, and I was like, wow, these movies are awesome. Nightcrawler in X-Men 2.
Yeah, that's a great example. Great example.
Yeah, Nightcrawler was
they
so
did that.
cool.
I was like, oh my god, this guy's incredible.
Prior to that movie, okay, he can teleport.
Yeah, he was a joke character to me.
Yeah, but then you saw how those powers could be, and that's what I'm talking about. They're now embracing the extension of what those powers really can achieve, because in the day-to-day, it's like, these people are ridiculous. They can't do all of it on the big screen. You wouldn't have a movie, but you need to embrace some of that.
You can make a whole story about just one character, literally, in the X-Men.
can.
And it'll be amazing because they have powers. Things that we can't do.
Sort of pissed when they threw in Venom at the end. God. So you were talking about, did you see the Captain America movies?
I did see that.
So what did you think about those movies, like, compared to other things that you've seen? Because
I honestly liked it, Have
you seen all three?
I've seen 2 of them.
Well, the third one is kind of
Civil War.
Civil War is kind of like, it is Captain America, but you kind of get lost in the Avengers as part of it, because there's a lot of Avengers. Did you see Civil War?
Might have seen that.
That's the one where what's a good spoiler I could give him? They were jog his memory without spoiling it.
A good spoiler without being a spoiler?
You know what I'm saying? Something that could jog his memory without spoiling the movie.
I was just saying, because I have a great one, but it's a spoiler.
All the Avengers and fighting against each other. Boom.
The airport fight?
Yeah.
Okay, with
Spider-Man. Boom.
Okay.
Did you see that one?
That was the one I was trying to not give away.
What about the cat guy?
He
was in there too?
Yeah, he was in there. Yeah.
So
Black Panther.
So what, of those 3 then, George? Did you? So which? How do I? I'm trying to get you to just taking the Captain America movies.
Yeah.
And you've seen the other X-Men movies, the other superhero movies, and all that. So how does it rank on your hierarchy of quality movies?
Well, me personally, man, I'm kind of easy to please, though.
Oh, okay. So, you're not really that involved with it. This is stuff from our our childhood, so we're a little bit more.
I just like a lot of action and stuff like that.
I respect that. There's nothing wrong with that. So he made a comment about Thor and Hulk, right? So I don't think he.
Well, I know.
Hold on. I don't think you have an appreciation for how strong Thor is, because the Hulk's strength has been sort of pushed down our throats as he is the guy when it comes to strength.
Yes.
But
Thor is. Thor, though.
Don't sleep on my people.
Thor was made because of the Hulk. You know,
And
that's ridiculous. Do you have to make a character just a counter character and put him on the same team?
it doesn't matter. So that means he's not as strong because he was made to be as strong.
And then you have a character that has raw strength, and then you have this guy who has a limit, and you're like, he can't beat him.
Hold on, what'd you say?
That's really why Thor was made, though.
I don't know what the hell.
It's not the complete reason.
That's his opinion.
The Avengers were made, and Thor was one of the Avengers, and it was like, we have the Hulk, so let's make someone that
Thor
could
was
keep
around
him in check.
before the Avengers comic book. He had his own stuff going out before.
Well,
the Avengers.
what I've looked up or found online is like Thor was there to keep the Hulk in check most of the time.
Keep him in check.
I'm like, that's stupid. Like,
well, I guess they overused him because Hulk was only in 2 issues. He was in Avengers 1 and Avengers 2.
What ends up happening with this guy, he gets this idea of what he thinks it is, and then he kind of he almost turns it into fact, even though it's really just his opinion. Because you heard what he just said. He was like, Thor was made to counter the Hulk. I don't think that's the case. That's how he feels about it, and that's fine.
It's a statement, but this doesn't mean it's a fact. I didn't say it was a fact.
Yeah, but the way you're saying is like,
well, I'm gonna back it up because I think it's true.
Thor is his own character in his own world in Asgard. I don't believe he was made as a counterpoint.
I don't either.
Hulk at all.
Me either.
Anything I've heard from Stan Lee and the other guys that have done the books back in the '60s, that was never a point. They're like, oh, we need somebody that counters the Hulk. There certainly would be ones that would be
okay, so wait a minute, George. You follow the Hulk, right? So who was the character that made to? Who's his arch nemesis?
They didn't really do that. Stan Lee is really credited for this, and he's the one that's still alive. Jack Kirby and several other artists and people that worked with him on the stories.
It's funny hearing those old names. I haven't heard those names in so long.
They weren't really thinking in the terms that we do now. This was at the beginning when all this stuff was happening. So these are just characters being made. So Spider-Man was created. It wasn't like, well, he's a counterpoint. He's the depowered version of Superman. That wasn't. I mean, that might have been in the back of their mind as a thought when they were designing and thinking about the characters. But these are just characters they came up with. It's like, oh, let's make a character and put it out there and see what happens. And it just happened to take off. These superheroes are already established in the 30s and 40s.
The Hulk kind of reminds me of Godzilla in the sense that, Godzilla, some of his films, it was like he had to deal with the government and their armies. So it's like you got the Hulk out there, and
it's truly an amalgamation between the Frankenstein monster and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's really
okay. That makes sense.
When you piece all of what Stan has said over the years, that's really what the Hulk was. He was intrigued by the Frankenstein's monster character and put that as a flaw to the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Brilliant, smart scientist that has this other side of him that turns into the Hulk. That was as base as it came out.
Why do you have a problem with somebody that has the potential to beat the Hulk?
I have a problem with someone who has a limit, who has a set physical strength, and to someone who doesn't have a limit with physical strength that we know of yet, and that it could beat the Hulk. I find that to be retarded.
I'll have to give you my Thor comic where they have the fight where Thor throws the hammer away, because that's always been the great equalizer.
Well, there you go. Just tell him. Just tell him.
What happens?
Just school. Yeah, they want to.
Yeah, I want to know what happens now.
You might not want to give him your comics either. You might leave it.
What? So Thor is that powerful. Without the hammer, he's that powerful.
Not to get into a giant fanboy, but I'll do this quickly because I want to take up your entire podcast talking Hulk Thor. I liked in the 80s, Marvel put a number on everything, so you're able. And I'm very much analytical, so I like being able to quantify and number things out. So
remember we had the flip book with the encyclopedia of all the information.
Yes,
I missed that.
Giving you some basic points. Spider-Man is 10-ton strength. The Thing is 80-ton strength. Juggernaut is 90. Thor is 100. Colossus is 90, 100. The original Green Hulk is 70. Starts at 70 and gets more powerful from there. They've upped the powers. The characters have changed over the years, so now the Green Hulk would be called 100. Mm-hmm. But when they analyzed it at the beginning, Green Hulk starts at 70, Thor starts at 100. More the fight goes on, Hulk gets stronger, other guys don't get stronger. You also add in Mjolnir, if we're enunciating it correctly, because that was always a thing for us back in the 80s.
We should call Derek up and ask him what the name. How you say that?
I think he might agree with that. Mjolnir is very powerful and is the key to why Thor is able to beat up on the Hulk as easily as sometimes it appears to be in the comic books. Because Mjolnir, number-wise, lets Thor hit for 150-ton damage. So he would be able to take the Hulk out quicker than the Hulk's rage.
150 tons. Can you give us something that would be on the scale of that, just so we can?
I don't think.
Just an idea of like what's on the scale of that kind of weight.
Aircraft carriers, smaller ones, because I think depending on what's on them, they probably weigh even more than that. But an aircraft carrier.
God damn.
And he's done that. Hulk's pushed aircraft carriers out of his way to get to somebody. I mean, they're in the water, but just shoved them out of the way and continued moving. He's had a moving train, a locomotive hit him, and he just turned around and got annoyed and then picked it up and dropped it onto Thor. I don't know if that's physically possible because he only.
Well, it's just all fake. So I mean,
right? No, I'm just saying. Just even in the Marvel world, I'm like,
okay.
I think you guys go a little over the top with some of that stuff. But to make it more simple, the Abomination, when you're asking about a character to counter the Hulk, the Abomination was created as a counterpoint to the Hulk. A guy that wanted Banner's strength, but bars himself with more gamma radiation than Banner was hit with, and the Abomination starts at 100. So he's more powerful than the Hulk. And their first fight, he takes Hulk by surprise, as Hulk's not expecting somebody to be as powerful as he is, and he literally pummels the Hulk and knocks him out. Literally on the pages, the Hulk is laying there on the ground, knocked out. First fight with the Abomination. Hulk loses. So he's not this all-powerful thing that we want to make him into being now. They've certainly done that in recent years now. They've started just up it, and they don't let people punch him and knock him out. But that's long and short of it. That's why. Thor himself is powerful, and then you add in Mjolnir. Mjolnir is ridiculous. Mjolnir might, to some extent, be more powerful than Thor, because of its magical enchantments.
Yeah.
Technically.
So, but what about this Hulk and his strength and his ability to basically become incalculable when it comes to his rage and strength? How does that... and this will be the last thing we talk about with that, but do you know how long it takes and what the process is? And because ultimately...
They've never been able to define that. They did for the Marvel Superheroes role-playing game, and the guys had different, basically in quarter increments. So 25 ton, 50, 75, 100, and then you had Shift X, Shift Y, Shift Z, which I think jumped to 150. Don't quote me. People would fact check me. I'm going to get the number wrong. Shift Y maybe is 300, and then Shift Z is 500, and it starts jumping up. Then it goes to cosmic numbers. The Hulk in the role-playing game shifted from the 7500 and then would shift around, which was crazy. So he would be one round, but you're first fighting him, he's hitting you for 75 points of damage at 75 ton strength. The next round, he's madder, he's hitting you for 100. Then all of a sudden, he jumps to 150. Then all of a sudden, he jumps to 300. Then he jumps to 500.
And in the game, that's happening in rounds.
Right, and that's happening in rounds.
So that's quickly.
I don't believe that happens that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But even if it's anywhere near that speed.
Yeah, I don't think it's anywhere near that speed.
So
he also does not get tired. That was the plus. The Thing was a counterpoint in Fantastic Four. He was the big brute guy that the Hulk fights initially, and the Thing is a brawler. That was his thing. He's known for physical brawling and fighting. But battling the Hulk for like 5 or 10 minutes, he's noticing the Hulk's getting stronger while they're going on. And he's not getting tired. Thing's huffing and puffing. He's like, does this guy get tired? And he feels like he's stronger than ever. I'm trying to hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, and he's just not stopping. So that was the early days of you really can't take him in a physical one-on-one contest.
I don't want to get too much in there. We could do a whole thing on Marvel stuff, but the scene where the Hulk is fighting Iron Man in the Hulkbuster armor.
I thought you might bring that up.
Here's the thing about that, right? Tony Stark is a man, right? He's got the armor on. The armor's no joke and all that, but he, like, the whole time I'm like, if the Hulk gets one finger on him in any way, he's fucked. So that's what I'm thinking the whole time. Like, he's gonna die. He gotta get his shit together for real.
When he gets punched and goes flying through the air and hits the ground, I'm like, doesn't he like turn into mush inside?
I don't. It's fine because they wouldn't have a movie, but the whole time, I'm like watching him tear the armor up, and I'm like, if he gets in there, all that damn brains ain't gonna mean shit. You're gonna tear that ass up.
I, as a huge Hulk fan, and John and I have talked about this. Oh, I just let the cat out of the bag.
Magnetic. Who cares?
I did that last week. I very much enjoyed the go to sleep.
Yeah, that was awesome. That awesome.
Technically should have happened at the beginning of the fight. You can't fight him for like 2 minutes and then go to do that, as he did. But he is trying to get in, like, okay, let me do enough damage to him before he gets angry to knock him out. So that was cool. It just should have been like the first thing he did.
Yeah. Got in that
fist and got on and went over and immediately, like, okay, let's do this right now.
So were you satisfied with that scene as a Hulk fan? Did you feel like it was, they gave Hulk enough and they gave Tony enough that you believe that could happen the way it did?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
I was totally fine with that.
All right, we're going to shift gears a little bit. We wanted to have our buddy, the Rook Bishop, join us, but he had to go to work or something today. So I'm going to stick to the topic, though. Relationships. Recently, I was interviewed by this company that this guy works for. What's the name of it again?
Spark Media Project.
Spark Media Project, about actually the relationships. Haven't seen the footage yet or anything yet.
I haven't been there. So they probably
sort of works for. But I've seen recently I've seen a couple of my friends go through some stuff in relationships, so I thought we'd just talk about it briefly, and then we'll get into the news, because I haven't been on the news and paid attention to anything. But anyway,
relationships and spark media job interview.
He sort of works for this.
I'm a contractor there. Independent contractor.
He's an independent. He's a WWE wrestler.
So he had one of the guys there was doing describe it.
Okay, so they were doing this big interview. Actually, I think they finished it. If you ask me, they were doing this interview. They were interviewing a whole bunch of people and asking them how they feel about relationships, what a healthy relationship looks like, and how one should play out and whatnot. And and we interviewed our friend here fatter than yesterday.
You're not gonna be calling me that. When this
Okay,
goes in public, you just
than...
answer the damn question and don't say my name.
So usually, so the question is like, what do I do there, or like, I'm a little confused.
You were just describing the what was
the project.
Well, that was
project. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all you were doing.
Yeah.
Why are you falling apart?
So I'm seeing there's anything more you're asking.
Not that. What was it? You know, I don't. Yeah, think about what I said and then go from there.
So you got interviewed for this project?
No, we interviewed this guy here, fat.
You don't got to say my name. You can
Fatty
just
McFatty.
You can just stay with this guy here.
We got
Why are
it.
you falling apart? Anyway, so the questions are going to be like, what do you think it takes to have a positive, healthy relationship? What do you think?
Positive, healthy
Bonesy.
relationship.
Now, I know some of us haven't been in relationships, and me being one of the people, I've had dealings that were on relationship levels, but I don't really have a lot of relationship experience. But I have been around a lot of people over the years, and I've seen things and what works and what doesn't work. So I like to actually have the perspective of everybody, just because I think any information that can be gathered from any perspective is good information. So go ahead. So
like
between two
observer.
human beings, just period, or between like what do you mean?
Well, we don't want to talk about dragons and mice.
I believe the reference would be boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But human,
human beings.
Right.
Yes, human beings.
Romantic relationships.
Okay, so if we're talking about romantic relationships, what do I think makes a good one?
Yeah, a good, healthy relationship that will last long, and both sides will be happy.
I mean, you gotta go with the general. You have to be honest and stuff like that, and
Yep.
you have to. I don't know. You gotta get to know each other and stuff like that.
Yeah. So from what I've seen, and I don't mean to cut you off, but it's like the relationships I work from what I've seen are when they are friends first, and then they become, it builds into a relationship. But so they get to know each other before they even get into a relationship. What's your thoughts on it? You can say whatever you want. Go ahead, hit me with it.
Well, I think one thing's. Friends first works, but you're not gonna always be friends with someone.
That's true.
I think a relationship, the first thing you gotta have is communication, and I think if you don't talk to the person, tell the person how you feel, then it's never gonna work in the first place. If you can't open up to the person and tell the person you're uncomfortable with something, it's gonna be dead before you even start.
Well, that's something that could be applied to people in general. Any situation you're in that you are having a problem and you don't express the concerns you're having, how are people going to know to react or change? Or you're guaranteeing nothing if you don't say anything.
Yeah, it's like.
One of my favorite lines is permission to speak freely.
It's like.
Sometimes they regret that, but.
I'd rather have it. If you're racist, tell me. I'd rather know.
You date someone and then you do things around them and they don't say anything and you think it's okay because you say, oh, are you okay with this? Like, yeah, and then 2 weeks later you get into an argument about something.
Fuck that.
Irrelevant.
Give me a
and
fucking.
They bring it up. You're like, what the.
Give me a fucking break. I can't stand shit like that.
That's a communication error. I understand what you mean, but that's a communication error. Someone
looking at the thing.
It changed, yes.
Someone who can't Wait. But that's someone who can't express how they feel, John.
Well, alright, so here's the thing about it, right? So, I don't have patience for fucking shit like that. If you got a fucking problem with something I'm doing, fucking tell me.
That's
Fuck you.
That's me right now.
Hold on. There's another side to it, though. There's another side to it, though. We have to acknowledge that there are people there that are fearful of expressing themselves and fearful of confrontation. And so you have to decide if you want to be able to put up with that sort of thing and help nurture those people to be able to discuss their problems, or if you want to just move on. So that doesn't sit here, I'm getting mad, but it's I'm thinking of myself in that situation, but I'm not saying that, my way of thinking is that's it, and that's, you know, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't have patience for shit like that. I'll try and all that, but I'm gonna get mad.
I legitimately try to not bring every problem I have to surface, because one of the things you have to do when you're with someone, you gotta learn to like be around them.
Yeah, but then the other side to that too is, though, when you're in a relationship with somebody, that's the person you're supposed to be able to bring your problems to. Now I understand a certain level of getting overwhelmed.
Yeah,
I get that, but at the same time, of all the people to talk about your problems to,
that's the person. Yes,
supposed to be your significant other.
So,
and if they can't accept their role in that, then what the fuck are they in there for?
What I've dealt with is someone has
am
a
I
problem.
crazy? Am I
No,
bugging out?
I agree. Someone I've dealt with,
bugging out.
it's like they have a problem.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying when I say am I bugging out?
They have like a personal problem.
Bugging out. I don't mean it literally bugging out. I mean like, it's my mindset off. This is the way I'm thinking off. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No.
Check your phone.
What I was saying is someone that has like a personal problem, and they feel like they can't tell you, the person that they're dealing with, the person that they're with for so long.
Well, I mean, maybe the person's abusive and they don't want to get abused. maybe they're gonna get yelled at like a crazy person and they can't handle that.
So it's like if you're gonna have a problem, you're gonna tell me you have a problem, and you're not gonna tell me a problem, but you're gonna take it out on me. Then fuck you.
Give me a break. Listen.
Fuck you.
There is none of that. You got a problem. You don't say anything. You call yourself showing your ass because you don't know how to fucking talk.
No, I kind of agree with
Give me a break.
I can't. It's like, what am I supposed to do?
You can say that.
You can say that.
You're supposed to comfort me. How am I supposed to comfort you if I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you?
Exactly.
What the?
I'm gonna set it off, but that sounds like some fucking female shit. I'm sorry, I said it. And go ahead and attack me. I don't care. Men, you know what?
That is what it is.
I'm sorry, but I don't really.
You can't be ashamed for calling out something that females do. I don't think you should be ashamed.
It's not a matter of being ashamed. It's a matter of them not taking on the realistic point that is more likely to happen with a woman. That doesn't mean that men can't or won't do that, but shit like that happens with women. So they can get mad at me, and you know, it's kind of like when you there's a lot of shootings in Chicago by black people. How dare you say that about black people? What the? You're fucking doing it. You're mad at me because I put up the shit that you're doing. So if I walk around the fucking mirror and you see yourself, you're gonna get mad at me, right?
Some do.
So,
To bring it back to the initial
finish it
question,
off.
mutual respect, trust, and honesty
Give me a
are what is needed. And as you can see from this conversation, that was probably lacking.
Yes. Communication is the number one thing for me. If you can't talk to me, then we can't. If you can't, talking is the number one thing.
Yeah, that's a big
Communicate. It's like you can't talk. It's never going to work.
There's basic premises you learn in school when you learn about communication, and you as the person delivering your message are actually responsible to make sure that the message you want received is what is received. It's not the receiver's fault. A lot of times people will blame the receiver. Oh, well, that's not what I meant. Like, well, that's your responsibility to tell me what you meant, not for me to decipher. You're not any...
And that's the funny thing about it, right? Decipher. So at the point where I have to decipher what you're saying, and now you're going to get mad at me because you didn't communicate clearly enough what your point was, and you get mad at me, you're wrong. Because you're not telling what the fuck your problem is.
My favorite is when I ask for clarification and I get yelled at.
That's incredible. Basically, it's like, I'd like to understand better what your point is. Well, why don't you get it? Nigga! I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to, and the bitches, I'm trying to help you. So that I don't react in the way that my mind is set. That's incorrect. So I'm asking you for clarification, and I get fucked up. Word for real. What the fuck ever. Yeah. So you know, it's one of the things I noticed in people that. I think arguing is a little bit healthy. Obviously, when you're arguing all the time, that's just crazy. But
it's Facebook.
I had flashbacks from a couple weeks ago.
Their ability to have those arguments but then patch it up afterwards. I have no problem with people getting into it because I think that's just part of human nature to argue a little bit.
You should be able to express how you feel with the person, especially if an argument is like it's built up.
I think your ability to get past those arguments will determine the longevity of your relationship. To be honest with you, yeah, just because if you can't,
there's some people who argue and then they fall in love with each other because they express they showed that person that side of themselves and they didn't take it negatively. You know what I mean?
Well, there's levels and degrees of argument.
That's true.
That run very hot and cold, and that's not healthy.
That's true.
That they have the extremes.
That's true.
It's fine to have the road and have bumps. You're going to have hills and valleys and have some bumps, but there are people just go the high and the low. and they almost feed off of it. It becomes a self-fulfilling.
What do you think about?
They want to have sex. They actually will start a fight so they can have makeup sex. And I'm like, you should just be able to say, "I want to be able to fool around." You shouldn't have to.
What do you think
punch
about
me in the
relationships
face
that becomes
to get that reaction?
Physical on a female?
Give me a fucking hell no! Listen to me.
I would hear that because
no. This is very easy. Fuck that taboo shit. This is very simple. It's very simple. You don't put your fucking hands on anybody, male or female. Period. I don't expect a guy to bust a fucking woman's face over if she pushes him. I don't expect that. But the bottom line is, at the point that you decide to put your hands on somebody else, to me, you kind of get what you get. Now, obviously, it's extremely. You don't get stabbed in the eye from pushing somebody, but you get my point. There is no putting your hands on fucking people and then you want to whine about getting punched in your fucking face. No.
Bones, you got something to say about that? Sound like you were going to say something.
I think you should be able to, restrain yourself. If a woman, if you're a man and you get hit by a woman, you should be able to restrain yourself a little bit.
That was
the point. I'm not going to throw down like it's a UFC fight.
Right.
But if I decide to punch you, don't come back at me like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I saw a video where this woman, I don't know who, it was a white guy and a white lady, and one of them was like a security guard or some shit like that. And the woman was going off, screaming, yelling. She slaps the guy, right? And, so then he slapped her back. She fell apart, crying and just...
He hit me.
How could you? Bitch! Did you not just do the same fucking thing? What the fuck? You were right there!
Playing the victim in front of a whole crowd.
She fell apart, Jordan. He slapped the shit out of her.
Clearly.
The slaps weren't equal, but shit. She should have kept her here. I had zero problem with what he did to her. Zero. None.
So this was not the Sagat bus driver that got the girl.
the uppercut? Oh, you're going to jail now! You're going to jail! Tiger! Oh, hell! Did you see that?
I didn't see
Oh,
that.
you got to see it. Can we play?
No.
Shit's hilarious.
Just look it up.
That shit's hilarious. Oh, no.
You don't even have to pause it. You just look it up.
This is it's ridiculous. Bus driver.
Oh, wait. Okay. You're not typing anything.
What?
You're not typing anything.
Just calm down. It'll be all right. So there's no putting hands on people. Just put busting. That's the first thing.
Bus driver uppercut reaction.
All right. So all right. Oh no. You got to see this. Is it the longer one or the short one? So this is the full thing down here.
Do the shorter one.
So this is the girl running her mouth, and the bus driver's over here. That's the bus driver.
Wow.
Nigga, I dog that hoe too, nigga.
Look like somebody done sliced your face up.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Somebody.
Watch.
You going to jail? You going to jail?
Oh
my god!
He annihilated her! Sushi tray! Oh no!
He threw her off the bus too?
Oh no! Yeah, he threw that ass off the fucking bus. He blew that shit out of the water.
No joke.
He let her. She straightened out her shit right there.
Oh my god!
They had the nerve to interview that girl, and she was like, she was like, it felt like getting hit by a torpedo.
She said it felt like some Mortal Kombat shit.
He blew that ass up.
Oh my god.
Wow!
I gotta see it again. I'm sorry.
I thought she was flying out the bus. No,
Oh
just
my
how we remember
god,
that.
man! Oh my god!
Watch! He just threw her out.
Wow!
Oh my god.
Get your shit too.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
He fucked her. And she got the nerve to try to come back after that? He got about to stroke. You see that? Wait, maybe that's somebody else. No, yeah. Now, see, here's the thing about that, right? We were just talking about this. She spit on him.
Oh, she spit. Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, one of the things about this video, the driver, he has to be able to control the situation better than that. He can't be antagonizing her, and that's where he got in trouble. I think he got fired. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But I think he got fired.
Yeah.
And I side with the bus driver, but he has to be putting himself on a higher ground because he is the guy that has the ability to control the situation.
Yeah.
Stop the bus. I'm sorry that you're not having a good day or whatever like that, but you know what I mean.
But
But he was antagonizing her, talking about somebody sliced up her face and all this shit. He's antagonizing her.
And there are also times you just take the penalty, like, well, that was worth it.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
If I'm going to get fired from my bus driving job, that's how I want it to happen. I don't want to get spit on and get punched, but that might be how it happens.
Right. So but again, like now, so she's falling apart now. I'm going to say. And this is a tough one because that punch was serious. Here's the thing, right? So
there was some wind up.
So yeah, he nuked her fucking face. Her shit was separated.
He pretended he dropped $1 on the ground.
It was truly a classic tiger uppercut because he came from down there.
Yes, he started down on the ground.
She lucky her shit didn't fucking separate. He blew her ass up. Oh, anyway, but like so. As you heard, she was, people in the back, that's a fucking female, but it's like they were saying nothing when she was up there showing her ass. Yeah. Those same people that are whining about him uppercutting her, nothing, while she's showing her ass.
Saying, be a lady and stop acting like a guy.
Right, not only a lady, that guy's much older than her. In terms of disrespecting your elders and all that kind of shit. Now, he did lower himself by, going back and forth with her. That part, I can't argue with that. But
I think the punch wasn't justified just because it was too powerful.
Yeah, he could have killed her.
Yes, it was too powerful.
That was.
But here's the thing. All right, so here's the thing about that, right? So, in order to avoid being in situations where you can get destroyed, let's not be spitting on people and putting our hands on people so that we don't got to worry about that's a female.
Right, bringing it back to the initial.
Yeah, because when you're in your primal thoughts, like when you're in anger, you don't care about what you're doing.
Yeah, and my thing is when you do certain things to people, I don't give it. Like, if I punch you and you kill me, I can't. To me, I get what I get because you opening up a whole world of things that you may not be aware of or prepared for. You know what I'm saying? All right, so is there anything else anybody wants to say about relationships? Because I think that's a great place to just let it rock.
I'll just say I very much like the Deuce in Vegas, where I think that took place. They provide a good service and get the day pass.
I still want to go to Vegas. I want to go to that burger place. What is it? Heart Attack Grill? Yeah, I want to do that.
Heart Attack Grill? Oh, they're famous for killing people?
Well,
the food is famous for killing people.
It's just really, really like not healthy. But it's definitely.
You had a smile on your face.
Is it like a place with like some giant hamburgers or something like that?
Yeah, they have like these huge burgers that are like ridiculous. Anyway, we're gonna move away from relationships now. So George, tell us what's been going on in the news. I haven't been paying attention to much this week. I heard something about Obama while he was in office and Trump was running. There was some sort of him secretly trying to get into information or something like that.
We last left off seeing the joint session of Congress speech Tuesday night.
Yes.
The hour speech that we finally finished at like 2:30 in the morning.
Well, what did we think about that?
We thought it was very good, as did most people. He got like a 76% thumbs up.
Now there was talk about him using. Did you see the? It's not State of the Union. What were they calling it?
It's a joint session of Congress.
It's Trump's first speech to Congress.
It's the first State of the Union. It's not called the State of the Union.
Did you see it?
Was that the thing where he was talking about like what he's gonna do for the country and stuff like that?
Yeah, but it was all the Congress was there though, and they read
he was in front of Congress.
I think I might have seen that.
Did you see it?
I saw some bits when I was when I was working.
So you're aware of it. So there was talk about him using like teleprompters. So is that not a normal thing? They don't use teleprompters for those things usually. They're just off the cuff.
No, they do, but he's known for not using teleprompters. So oftentimes when he does, people will point it out because he'll ridicule other people for doing it. But
you know what?
It keeps them on point, which is the premise of why it's there. For all politicians, to keep them on point, they get their point across and not wander off into, did you guys see Logan?
Right.
Keeps them from doing that.
I had zero problem with the teleprompter. It was like zero. The thing about it, though, is teleprompter suggests that you potentially could have not written this stuff. You know what I mean? Which I don't really care.
And they don't.
As long as as long as the points are coming from you, I don't care.
6 to 8 script writers that, the president's usually involved in the process and give points, but they do not write these speeches.
I wish they wrote
the House of Cards. It's like they you know what you have to say, so they just get people who's like, you know what I have to say.
Yeah.
Type it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I wish they would do that for his fucking Twitter shit. Some of the stuff that he says.
That's the unfiltered.
And that's,
Who gave him
that
a
just
phone?
sucks. So it's funny because people get mad at you saying, "Oh, he's presidential." They're so eager that they hate this man so much. It doesn't matter what good he does. They're gonna find some way to make it negative. And that's not to say that doesn't matter. The point is that this was his most presidential moment. That's, to me, there's no arguing that.
Well, there's plenty of quotes you could put out, but somebody said if there was a line in a paper, if somebody saw Trump walk on water, the headline would read, "Trump can't swim."
That's true. I like that.
Well, let me stop.
What? No, what?
No, I was going to make a joke. I'm like, well, he can walk on water. That's better than swimming.
Oh my God.
It is, but that's
not
the catch-22 of what the point is. That regardless of what he does.
Look at this guy trigger happy. What? Say something bad about it.
Shut your fucking
Look
mouth.
at you.
Our favorite one was that we said if he saved 99 out of 100 people out of a burning house, the headline the next day would be "Trump leaves one to die in blazing."
That's better. I like that.
You're like, what?
So I was nervous that he wasn't going to be presidential because that was the biggest concern that I had coming from the election and going into the I'm like, can this guy actually be presidential?
One thing I want Trump to do in general, one thing he said he was doing, and one thing that I really have hopes for that Hillary didn't cover is keeping jobs in America. I think that's one of the best. Yeah. That's one of the things that I'm okay with him. One of the things that I just do is like, okay, it's Trump. He could blow up everyone else, but as long as he keeps jobs in America.
What? This is why I told this guy to shut the fuck up earlier. You guys think this is a fucking joke. Did you hear what he just said?
Alright, I'm gonna justify what I just said.
Please do, because I actually don't justify that. I don't want to hear no justification for that.
They bomb other countries literally every other fucking day, and you don't even hear about it. Am I lying?
You said America?
Yes. Am I lying? Do they drop bombs on these countries?
Don't pull me into your fucking shit.
Am I lying?
I don't know what the fuck what are you talking about? I'm not gonna. Don't sit here and make me back your shit up.
They don't drop bombs in the Middle East.
I didn't say they didn't. Just go ahead and make your point.
I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? Are a lot of them undocumented?
Obviously, there's been a lot of cases where the United States has been bombing people. Is that what
that's what I'm going off of. Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
So you're saying as long as they don't bomb us, it's fine?
As long as he keeps jobs in America, I'm okay with it.
I know what you're trying to say, and I don't think you mean what you're saying with the bombing shit.
I'm not saying it's justified. No, I don't think it's justified.
How do you know if it's justified or not?
Because all these times they blow up hospitals.
What if there was a terrorist in those hospitals?
So
that would blow us up. The thing you don't.
So your kid's overseas and he's in the hospital.
My point is that you don't know the details
there's a terrorist
of
in the hospital and they just blow it up. You'll be okay with that?
Depends on the terrorist.
Okay. Wow, you hate the terrorists
Listen,
that much.
I want you to understand
blood?
something. I'm okay. I don't even know how we're getting into this, but when it comes to war, right? There's a certain level of collateral damage you have to be willing to accept. So, if I got a guy who is known, I'm being extreme on purpose, who is the head of some nuclear plot to attack America, right? Okay. And I find out he's in the hospital, right? Yes. And this is the only time I'll be able to get to him. We've been after him for years or whatever. This is the only chance we got. I would be okay, and it sucks because you're obviously you have a family member in the hospital or something like that. Your opinion might change, but this is the only chance I get to stop this guy from dropping nukes on America.
And that's how ISIS was formed. Boom.
That's true. I'm not arguing that. That's part of it. It's extending. I'm not. That's part of it. Absolutely.
What is they've been fighting each other in the Middle East for thousands.
And that's the thing about it, right?
We should not have stuck our nose in the middle of that hornet's nest. The hornet's nest was already there.
Yeah.
People want to say, "Oh, it was formed because of us." It's like they might be aiming and stinging us because of such, but we did not form them or make them start doing what they're doing. They've been fighting each other for thousands of years.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Why are we in the middle of that?
I don't understand.
So what is ISIS exactly?
Oil.
What is ISIS exactly? Oil?
Oh.
You want to take that question? What is ISIS exactly? That's what he said.
Well, I heard there was they're like the resistance of they're the aftermath of 9/11, basically of America going into let's say Iraq and all the countries and claiming they were going to stop terrorism and just taking their stuff and doing things in the country unfairly, and then I guess that's I think
it's a little bit more.
The bottom line is, from what I understood, we've not taken any of Iraq's or Syria's or any of their oil.
Yes, and Trump pointed that out.
We don't have any of
you know what, George? I got it.
So somehow we've been there for 12 years, not taking the oil, but we're there for the oil.
So here's the thing about that, right? So what the fuck is going on? Why would we leave the very thing that can allow these people to have money to support this? And this is why they talk about they created them. Yeah. Who makes that fucking decision? Are you kidding me? Of all the things to do in that country, you can have the oil protected so that it still benefits the country. That's fine. But to leave it there unprotected with our stuff there because there's no other option, that's the shit I'm hearing.
That's why you start getting into the minutia.
So it's like, so to me, here's it, right? So it's like, are the people that are that have the decision at the points where they're making the decisions, they're not smart enough to know to not do that, or are they smart enough and they got some sort of fucking plot or plan to make some shit happen? Why would you leave that shit there?
Well, there you go.
So basically, to get a little bit more detail, I was talking about the house bomb. So you have the United States going into these other countries with whatever goals they have, right? Mm-hmm. So then they end up bombing a lot of civilians and things, right? So ultimately they go in there, democracy. You got to give you democracy. But everything that I've seen suggests that they're there to overthrow the governments, to put people in there that are friendly to the United States. Mm-hmm. You got a dictator or whoever that doesn't like the United States and doesn't want to work with us. Mm-hmm. We got to get rid of him and put someone else in there that's friendly to us, right? Mm-hmm. Also, to get in there to get their resources, right? Even though in this case he's saying we didn't even. But anyway, so people that are on the outskirts of all this, civilians and all that, they're getting fucked up behind this. So they
I need to interject.
So they
yeah, go ahead. Let me get this point.
Answer your question.
Yeah, so they have all this stuff on the news and stuff, basically talking about ISIS being crazy and whatnot. But yeah,
we the ones that did it.
We're the ones doing it.
No, here's the thing about it. It's not as black and white in that as that. Go ahead, make your point before it's lost.
A military point for what he was asking about. The other issue is when you look through wars throughout history, you were fighting a country. It was a set people, it was a country, it was military action, and you were fighting. Obviously, civilian casualties happen regardless, but you had military command and you had your armies battling. ISIS is a guerrilla warfare where they actually embed themselves into the civilian population. So what his reference is, which would have been lost in the overall context, they're intentionally in the hospital so you won't bomb them, so you won't attack them.
Gotcha.
It's not that randomly the guy happened to be there. They put their command headquarters underneath churches, underneath schools, underneath mosques, underneath hospitals, inside hospitals. So when we go in, and something happens, they immediately point to, oh, look, these bad Americans bombed a hospital. These are the same people that strap on vests and go blow up bazaars.
Yeah.
And they think that's cool. But if we take us ones, they point to us, we're suddenly the bad guys. I don't know how the equation works with that. I'm like, but you're wantonly doing it. We're not intentionally targeting civilians to kill them just for the sake of. That's your MO. That's not our MO. But if it happens under our watch, obviously we're the bad guys, and all ills of the world come back to us. Not saying we're racist, just saying all the ills of the world do not come back to us.
And unfortunately, people, and when you lose a family member, some of that stuff is just like you get blinders on. And I understand that, but people don't take the time to look at the bigger picture and how things are playing out, and that would affect their thought process. You would think, but like I said, when you lose a family member, I don't give a fuck about it. I'm getting my revenge. I don't give a shit about all that. Yeah. But it's like you got to really
standing ovation at the joint session of Congress comes to mind when they gave the widow the standing ovation. Not private.
So there, of course, and so that specific thing. So basically, there was a widow there that her husband died on a mission. And she was there at the Trump's address, and they were clapping for her and all that kind of stuff. So people attacked that too. I'm like, how dare he parade her out there trying to gain? It's like
she's being used as a political puppet and a political pawn.
And the thing about it is, even if that's true, the woman lost her husband.
Yeah.
Like, we just take a step back a little? I know people aren't going to do this, but the woman lost her fucking husband.
Right, she deserves to be there and to get praise.
She absolutely does. I don't give a shit what Trump's goal is. She absolutely deserves that. So
it's supposed to be a safe zone that you're supposed to leave, like with the political families. Like, okay, the kids are off limits.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's not the case. Trump's kids aren't off limits. Trump's 10-year-olds aren't off limits. But say something bad about Barack's children. Say something bad about Bill Clinton's child.
And they'll always tend to. Why do you got to compare it to them all the time? Like, you just focus on what's happening because. If the thing about it is like if your beliefs are true, they need to be true all the way through. So it makes me think you're full of shit when you have opinions on one side but you don't have them on the other. So that's why it gets brought up.
I want you to tell the truth all the time, not just to your family and friends. Not when you see people on the street, you lie to them.
Right. So what's been going on, George? Catch me up here. I see a few things here that are interesting.
Well, nothing really stuck out to me later in the week. What started happening, I wasn't really paying full attention to it, but just started hearing about it. Apparently, Saturday morning, Trump went on a tirade, as he often does on Twitter. And the basic gist was President Obama wiretapped Trump Tower. What a bad, sick guy. He just goes on a tirade. Spicer came out, I think it was last night or this morning, and said, we've asked Congress and the FBI to open an investigation into this, and we're not going to speak about it anymore. So basically, Trump opened the door, threw a stink bomb into the room, and then closed the door back and said, not going to say anything more about it.
Shouldn't have done that. You should have did his investigation and then...
Now, my problem is, and I haven't seen all of it, but I do paint with a broad paint stroke. The media that I've seen are focused in on Trump's accusation. Obama ordered it. And he has no evidence to prove that. This may be true, may not be true, but thus far nothing's been presented. They're ignoring the fact that apparently this actually was happening. This isn't just a made-up story. They're putting the point out like, oh, Trump made this up. It's not. It's not a fake story. It actually happened. I heard Mark Levin on this morning. It got put on Breitbart, which is why everybody will say, oh, conspiracy theory kooks, can't take it from there. He came on and read from The Guardian, read from the New York Times, those bastions of right-wing philosophy. 7, 8 examples he cited over the last 6-9 months to a year. The Obama administration went to the FISA courts last summer trying to get surveillance on high-end Trump officials. I don't know if it was directly on Trump, but they wanted particularly...
during the election
2016 summer last year, they wanted a computer tapped that might have a connection to a bank that might have a connection to Russia.
Wow.
They were denied. They went back for a more narrower FISA court in October, and it was granted. So he has been tapped. It actually happened. And the focus, what bothered me, the focus was specifically on what Trump said. And I understand, because the president's words have power. And he threw an accusation out there, didn't put any evidence out, and then walked out the room. But I thought the media would at least say, well, wait a minute. You can't pin that to Obama, but it's happening. That got ignored. The whole thing got shut down. They're only focusing in on, did you just create an accusation you have no proof for? But I'm being tapped. No. But
here's the thing about that, right? So it's like, how about we focus on the fact that it actually did happen? Let's focus on that first, and then we can, after we figure that part out, we can, go into the, the accusation of who ordered what and all that kind of. But we just ignore the fact. Imagine if it was the other way around. These people would have a literal fucking day with shit on themselves.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
I only get upset because, as I've said before with you, Trump does himself no favors.
That's true.
In his presentation.
Why do you fucking do that? Who are you?
You almost think it's on purpose. You're like, okay,
almost has to be.
There's either a mental issue going on where he can't control himself, or it's being done on purpose.
And it's like there's got to be somebody. There's got to be somebody in his camp that's like, you need to stop with the tweets, bro. You got to. You're doing yourself no. It's like you're your own worst enemy right now. And it's like, there's nothing to gain.
I think that's one of the things that I think a lot of people know about Trump. It's like the only way he can fall now is to himself.
Well, he's
like he beat the odds already.
So here's the thing. I think people don't appreciate the fact that he's 70 years old.
It's one thing to win an election; it's another thing to be able to govern.
He's 70 years old. He's a guy that is a billionaire. He's used to doing what he wants to do when he wants to do it. So when it comes to these tweets and all that kind of stuff, it's like, I don't give a shit what people think of or say about what I'm saying what I want to say because I don't give a fuck. And that's clearly what he, but it's like, you're now the president of the United States, though. That's what you claim. You have this overwhelming caring for the country, but then you don't take the office as serious as you should in terms of being presidential and how your behavior is viewed across the world. You are now a laughingstock to a lot of the world, and they mock you. It's because of this fucking shit like the Twitter stuff.
Right. Politically speaking, you would have a surrogate go out and do that.
Right, exactly. Why wouldn't you?
To throw them under the bus, whatever, but you have them go out and do that. The fact that he's out doing it himself is why it's really bad.
It's like, come on, man. Unbelievable. There's nothing else going on? I see the, what is that group that rounds up the immigrants? What is that?
ICE.
ICE, yeah, ICE.
Immigration and Custom Enforcement.
I heard they rounded up some kid in front of the school or some shit. Did you hear anything about that?
The girl that was in hiding that came out that spoke at a rally, and then they went and grabbed her.
Oh, tell me about that. I don't know about that one. I thought it was the one where it was like this kid was going to school, and they took her mother right from the school or some
that's
shit like that.
Possible. I haven't read that, but there was a woman named I think Vargas. I don't know if I have the right name. And again, don't quote me because I'm just talking off the top of my head. There was an ICE raid, and I think they were at the house, and they grabbed the father and the brother, but she was hiding in the closet. They took them into detention. She comes out of hiding and goes to a rally and tells people what her name is, who she is. She's protected under DACA, and they grabbed my father and my brother. ICE came knocking for her within 24 hours. And
wait, but
grabbed her.
That DACA thing's supposed to protect them, though. I don't
It is.
understand
It expired 2
ta-
months ago, and she has a pending appeal. But legally speaking, until her appeal is processed, she would be illegally here because her time is up.
That's scary, though.
So you're caught in a legal loophole. But
Yeah.
again, if you're in that position
That's
and you're
scary.
worried,
Why are you out there
if
running your
you're out
mouth?
there saying it. Now, if she wants to be the activist to say, I want to bring the attention, that's fine. But this is
This is the
again, you
result.
get what you
Yeah.
get.
Yeah, that's scary.
I'm sympathetic to you if you want to say, I want people to know the story and what's happening. That's fine. But if you put yourself out there, then this
if
can
you're
happen.
illegal and you got a pending, and you were in this country illegally, and you
Well,
got a
and
pending
part of it,
thing,
like George is saying, you become a martyr, because now you've sacrificed yourself for the cause. So now you have people are paying attention now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's kind of scary.
I don't know if she thought that far into it. I think she's just silly.
Americans
I
like
don't
the
know.
word martyr. They don't want to be one.
That's very true. That's very true.
They like the word definition of what it means, but they don't actually want to step up and do it.
We've just been invaded by
Some kind of creature.
attack of the
Killer tomatoes.
killer tomato, cherry tomato maybe.
We call
I
them
guess you don't want my input then.
Oh, what the hell? The show's over, you goddamn. We already had your input, your fucking music.
Perfect.
You're one of these. You're not illegal, but you're one of them. Like those. What do they call? Like one of those.
I'm first generation illegal.
First generation illegal.
I said legal.
Oh, legal.
My dad's an immigrant.
Is he legal?
No.
What's your dad's name? you don't want your dad to be a martyr?
Black Man 375.
He's been in this country literally his whole life, and for him, if he got deported, then I'll be like, "What? That doesn't make any sense." I feel like that would be like,
He's been breaking the law for 50 years. What the hell?
It doesn't make any sense.
well, Americans,
So wait, it's more like a,
Americans are illegal technically. We've been breaking our
Oh,
own
shut
law.
the hell up.
If you want to
Wait,
go that
so-
far, dude, we stole this country. If
Are
you want
you
to talk
serious
about
right now?
that,
You're comparing that to what your dad did? Really?
yes, because that's exactly what's going on.
Oh my god.
Not in the slightest.
I'm not
Are-
even.
Are you Nigerian?
So-
That is so dumb. That I don't even want to. I should even.
You would call that dumb.
You read the damn regs. I have a fucking
Picture
brain.
of it.
What?
Because you can't see a bigger picture of it, so it's dumb to you.
Explain
The
it to me.
bigger picture.
There's no bigger picture to me. You're dumb.
Oh, okay. Like I just said, because you can't see the bigger picture, you're calling it dumb.
Because I don't understand what you're like.
I told you.
Your
I
comparisons
compared
are insane.
Americans came to this country and took it from the Native Americans.
And took it. All right. So okay.
Because they have a document saying we own this
Okay.
country
So now at this point,
Because
we.
they,
Okay. All right. Hold
where
on.
they come from.
Uh huh.
Because they what's funny?
Keep going.
This guy's
No, because
no. If you're gonna laugh, no. I'm gonna
You asked me what's funny. I was gonna tell you what's funny.
I'm gonna stop talking because if you
Okay,
can't
so
talk
wait a
to me
minute,
without
okay.
laughing,
So hold
without
on,
trying
so
make a
in
joke
order-
out of it,
so in order to
you're
get-
not taking me serious.
Okay, so in order to get
But
you to be
I-
quiet,
I-
I just
I'm
laugh.
talking.
Clearly, that's not the
No,
case.
you can't talk to me and not take what I'm saying serious, and there's no reason to talk to you.
No, it was
No,
funny.
it's not a joke.
So you're too sensitive to talk.
No, it's not sensitive. It's not a joke.
All right, I won't laugh. Go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm done.
You're backing
No,
out
no,
because
no,
you
no,
got no
I'm
real argument.
done.
Are you done? Are you gonna be
No.
quiet now?
Yes, I'm gonna
Okay.
be quiet now.
So, but you're backing out because you don't have a real argument. Okay, got it. So I think we're gonna end the show because we've been out here for a while. The blonde hair just really rid its ugly head today. I apologize ahead of time
No,
for.
the best part is recorded.
Oh, so much for them being done.
Now people see how crazy you are.
Oh, you
No,
better
no,
believe
no,
it. They're
no,
gonna
no,
see it. You're right about that. They're definitely gonna see it. I can't
You
wait.
whole thing's dumb because you don't understand it.
You know what?
Classic-
Clearly you're not done. So
classic
real quick, I'm
Americans.
gonna just address it. All right. So here's the
Classic
thing.
Americans.
You already said
You
that
call
we
it
came in
stupid
here and took it,
because
right?
You don't understand it.
Are you done?
It's good when you gotta ask me. Are we done?
Yeah, it is. Are you done?
Are you done?
No.
Welcome to the MoodRoom. This is your host, blonde hair and
blonde hair
and fatter than yesterday.
No,
We'll see you.
No, we're not. This
next
bitch
year.
wants to back out because he doesn't want to face the fire. Are you done now? Can we address it now?
Yes, you know what, John?
Oh, wait,
what, John?
it's serious now. He's not calling me fatter than before.
You don't understand that. Your power.
You're gonna make me take a shit in front of all these people. Cut it out.
I can edit all this out.
And I'll bust your fucking face if you do that. You've been editing this shit because you get fucking. So let me get this straight. So any point that we have any type of adversity, you're gonna stick your fucking head in the sand and be.
The reference was to using the name.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I don't care about that. All right. So. Okay, so basically it's like we came here, it took the country from whoever, and what they just think about it, right? We've already established ourselves as a country at this point, so there is no, you don't have to follow the laws because.
So no. So you have people that come to this country, right? Who contribute to this country, that pay taxes in this country, and then you have a document that runs out that says you're no longer legal because you have. It's pending. It's like you're fucking them over to deport them.
At what point are you gonna? Which laws are you gonna pick and choose to follow? Then where does it end?
Laws are meant to be broken.
Oh my god.
And laws, basically laws. You know what? I heard this quote the other day. It's like laws are for what works right now, and those laws clearly do not work for any people that right now they need to be changed.
We're gonna end the show because we're about to get into
Am
some
I
shit.
wrong?
You're insane. I think you're insane.
Those laws where people who come to this country they're legal now. And
I'm fine with wanting to change the law, but then if you are an organized society, you follow the law and change it, not go into anarchy and say, well, I don't agree with this any longer, it's not serving me, so therefore I'm no longer doing it.
But when we're in this country, you're trying to make a living out of this country, and those laws.
So let me just so I understand.
And it's a loophole between there when it's like you can't. They're taking forever to.
Just put out fucking loopholes that fuck people over. What are you talking about?
It's okay.
Who said it was okay?
That's what I'm saying. You need to change those things.
That wasn't the argument.
That is what I've been saying.
Here's the thing, right? So you're saying that he's been here for whatever year. Like I heard there was like a grandfather thing where you've been here so long you become a citizen. I don't know if that's the case anymore, but anyway. So your point. Don't interrupt me because now you're getting on my nerves. Hold on a second. Let me make my point, then you can talk because now you're starting to aggravate me. Because we've been having the conversation and you won't allow it to happen. I give you ample opportunity to talk. You keep berating and not fucking taking opportunity. I stop, let you talk, ask you what you've done. You keep flapping off. And now I'm trying to bring it back down to civility, and you still keep doing it. So I'm asking you as a damn decent person to stop doing that. I'll make my point, you can make your point. Is that okay? Okay. So your point is, correct me if I'm wrong. I will pause so you can talk. Your point is, he's been here, he's been a productive member of society for a number of years. So therefore, he should not have to suffer the consequences of having loopholes and documentations that force him out of the country because the law is no longer protecting him. Is that your point?
No.
Okay, well, your point's lost on me.
It's a little bit of that, but it's not fully what you're saying. I'm saying.
Can I stop you for just a second? I'm sorry. Can you bridge the gap here, or is there?
I need him to make.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm saying it's a little bit of that. I'm saying like. My dad's been in this country for years, and he's been in this country for illegally, but he's wanted to be a citizen, and then there was this loophole where it's like you don't have this, you can't become a citizen, but at the same time they're making him pay taxes, and they're making him do all these things, and he's still doing all these other things, and it's like it says it's still pending, and he can't further his life when he's stuck in this loophole. It's like those laws need to be changed.
So are you saying that whatever loophole you're talking about can't be corrected by him, or could have been corrected before it got to the point where it's gonna fuck him over?
I'm saying those loopholes are there to fuck people over.
The loophole that you're talking about is a loophole that he has no power to correct. Is that what you're saying? And do you know what the loophole is exactly, so I can get a better understanding?
I don't know the exact, but it's definitely a loophole. It's like he's been on this pending list forever, and it's like he's been here his entire life, but he still pays taxes. What is this?
Well, paying taxes doesn't make you a citizen of the country. I paid taxes in Japan when I visited, but I wouldn't claim to be a citizen of Japan.
Well, you're there temporarily, but I get it. I kind of get what you're saying.
I'm just saying it wouldn't matter how long I was there. Like, well, I've contributed taxes.
Well, I'm saying as compared to somebody who's been there paying. I know. I understand that. We don't need to get into it. I think everybody here understands that. So did you gather what his points are and all? Do you understand it now better too? Because initially what he was saying was insane to me.
We need the loopholes and things corrected.
That's fine.
I think you guys are arguing different points.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I think we did get a little crazy in here, but I think we're gonna end the show today. Thanks for listening.
We'll end it on this headline I see. Dems smell blood and water.
The Democrats smell blood in the water.
So do I.
That's all, folks. Tune in next week for your host.
Let me tell you something right now. If you edit any of that shit,
what
I'm gonna record any of it. Leave all of it.
Just put it in
I'm gonna record us fighting in the backyard. Bye.
I would just use a gun. Fuck that. You heard it first.
Oh man, I'm over fucking.